Hi everyone, welcome to my video on Zorin OS. Now I'm going to show you what is so special about Zorin, and this is one of the paid, I think one of the only paid Linux distributions out there. I'm not very sure कि और कौन से हैं, but today I'm going to show you about Zorin OS, how to set it up and how to begin with. And to just start, this is a whole clean installation. That means I've not done even a single thing. Only one thing I've done is I've connected to the internet. That you can still do, like mine is wired. You can connect to wireless here, and you can change things over here. You can try to update and all. So I as you can see, I've not even updated anything. So I'm going to show you how to do it manually as well as through terminal. Manually as in from the graphical user interface. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open terminal, right? So let me just close it. I'll tell you how to do that. You can either go and yeah, you can type terminal here, right? And it will open terminal for you. So, but what I usually prefer to do is I press Control plus Alt plus T. And if you press Control plus Alt plus T, it will it will open terminal for you. So I think using keyboard comes really handy. So that's something I really like to do. If you press Windows plus upper arrow key, it will kind of maximize. If you press it again, sorry, if you press Windows plus down arrow key, it will bring it back to the normal window size. If you press Windows plus right, it will tile it to the right part of it, the screen. If you press Windows plus left, it will take to the left. If you press Windows plus down again, see it has brought it to the initial phase where you started off, right? But not the very initial phase, it's just a recent one. And so that's how it works. You can play around, do things, right? And let's get started. If you you can move it around. If you double click on the title bar of the window, you it will be maximized, and if you double click again, it will bring it back to the initial phase, right? So that is it. Let's start working on it. Now first of all, what I'm going to suggest is zoom it a little bit so that you can see what I'm going to type. um, First thing is sudo apt update. Now, since Zorin is based on Ubuntu, right? And Ubuntu is based on Debian. So these are OSs which distributions which are kind of following the Debian package manager. So first of all, whenever you see an extension called .deb, that means it can be installed on Zorin. Okay. For different distributions, it is different. So for Debian package manager, .deb works perfectly fine. So that's the first thing. Now, one of the most important things about Linux distributions is that they mostly differ what kind of package manager they're using, right? And by package manager, I just mean here you can see I'm using apt. Apt is just that it tells you that okay, please get the package or please update it from this apt package source, right? So apt is just a source with having a lot of links with a links to the repositories of the softwares you're using, right? And it kind of is maintained by some organization, maybe some community. Okay, so different distributions follow different package managers, and apt is one of the not really famous ones, as in not really it's popular, but it's not that appreciated because of it not being updated regularly. It does break at times. So what I'll suggest is, but we can still stick to it because Ubuntu is pretty much used by everyone, so we can still use it. Now, how do you actually update your system? In Windows, you have to go and type update, and then it will update things for you, then you have to restart. But in Linux, it is not that. So when you do sudo apt and update, all it means is sudo means giving it the root permissions. Root permissions means administrator permission. That means you can actually edit the system profiles, system configuration and all. That means you know what you're doing. Apt is the package manager we are using, right? You can also use apt hyphen get. There's a minor difference in both of them, but I prefer using apt here. So you could have used apt hyphen get, but I will still say stick to apt. It's pretty nice. And just type update if you want to update the system. Now, if you want to know what it does, by the way, you just need to enter the password here. It will just store star here. So mine is a very simple password. You can't guess it because now see what it does. It's very clear from here. See, it's trying to hit all these links and trying to get all the latest repository links. Whatever that has been updated. So you can see it actually goes to Ubuntu archive.ubuntu.com. Bionic is it's just a name for an Ubuntu release, and it's just saying that in release, these are the type of Bionic releases. Now it's fetching all these links to the repositories, PPAs. um, just forget about it. So it is getting from Ubuntu, Zorin OS as well. Zorin has its own link, so that at times it might happen that this is down, then you can actually use it, this one. So it's a lot of links here. You can see it has for drivers. Since I'm using a premium version, it has also a premium, so that I get the features from for premium users, right? So as you can see, it reads the package list. Now it is done. It has built some dependency that's not useful to us for now. Reading state information, that means what. So if I already have a software, what state is it in? Does it need to be upgraded? If it needs to be upgraded, then it will tell you it in this list. So it's pretty much verbose in the sense that you can see whatever is written on the screen. It says 266 packages can be upgraded. Run apt list upgradable to see them. So all you need to do is just copy this command and try to run this. Don't do anything fancy, just follow the instructions that are given on the screen. If you hit enter, you can see that it tells you these are the whole sort of softwares that need to be upgraded, right? That means which are already existing, and these need to be upgraded. And by softwares, I don't just mean graphical user interfaces, what you see like Visual Studio Code, for example, terminal, but it also means libraries, right? So you can see that, let's go to something which we can understand. Like for example, Firefox is a good example. You can see it just says Firefox Bionic updates, Bionic security. This is the version that is upgradable from. Right now we have 80.0.1, right? And it's the build for 18.04. And so Zorin OS is based on Ubuntu 18.04, right? So that's why Ubuntu 18.04. And you can see here it says 89.0. 89.0 is what we are going to install if we upgrade. And you can see local is just, for different languages, it's going to download and upgrade some things, which is not useful for us right now. GDB is the debugger that is going to install. GDM is the, I think, display manager. No, I think desktop manager, sorry. Yeah. And it's going to upgrade it from 3.2.8.30 to something. Okay, I'm not. Yeah, I think only this thing changed. So there's so many things that will change if you upgrade. Image Magic is going to be upgraded. So these are all the libraries as well, which will be upgraded. Sorry, right? And that is really important. So all you can actually go through the whole list and try to understand what is being installed. If you want to understand, right? Python 3 will be installed. Python 2 will still be there, right? Python 2.7 minimal, that will be there. So I hope this is clear what we are trying to do. Now, if you want to upgrade, what you need to do, it's very simple. You just need to type sudo apt upgrade, and that is it, right? So let me hit enter, and you can see now it says all these libraries will be installed. The following packages will be upgraded. The following new packages will be installed, which are not already installed and will be new, and those which are already installed but needs an upgrade. So these are all the libraries that needs an upgrade. And if you hit Y, it says need to get 124 KB out of 322 MB of archives. That means the system has already downloaded all the resources which are required. It only needs to download 124 KB of files out of 322 MB which were required, right? After this operation, 33.6 MB of additional disk space will be used. And this is the beautiful thing about Linux. It tells you everything that is going to happen. So you can see that it tells you that 33.6 MB is going to be used once you have upgraded everything. So if you want to continue, just type Y and hit enter. As you can see, it says you know need to get all of this. Whenever entered Y, it says get one. So it's trying to get resources from first URL, second URL, third URL, because maybe these libraries are only fetchable from these links. And then it says fetched 124 KB in 0 seconds with a speed of 751 KB per second. And then you can see it pre-configures packages, preparing to unpack. You see .deb is the file it downloaded for this particular library or slash software, whatever, right? And it's unpacking it. That means it's extracting it in terms of Windows, right? And then unpacking it, then setting up things, and then it's finally installed. So overall, it still installs all the .deb files everywhere you can see, because it uses the Debian package manager format. And you see all these will be installed. You can see the progress here. So you can just leave it there, let it happen in the background, and let's try to do something else. Now let's say, what if I want to install a library? Sorry, let's say I want to install Git, right? So I can simply type sudo apt install Git and it will work for me, right? It's that simple. But do you think it will happen? Let's try. Okay, I'm gonna hit enter. Now it just says that could not get lock slash var slash lib dpkg lock front end open, resource temporary unavailable, unable to acquire the dpkg form front end lock, right? Is another process using it. So it is asking you the right question, and maybe you already have the answer. Why? Because it is this whole process is already using the utility, and you cannot use this resource while it is being used already. So that means it just says that it's already used, and that's why it has been logged. So unless until it gets unlocked the resource, you cannot use it. So you cannot do anything like sudo apt install or sudo apt update again, right? So all you need to do is sudo apt install git. Once that is done, so you can see it has been completed. 21 new root certificates were added and all this, so many things that it gives you. All you need to do now is just install, maybe like I want vim, I want git, right? And don't, so this is from my experience that I know that vim is available in apt originally because of the experience, and git is also available. But not all the softwares you can just type audacity, for example. Yeah, or maybe you cannot type visual studio and it will install it for you. You need to go and find out if it is available on apt by googling, and I'll tell you how. So if I type sudo apt install vim space git, it's going to install both of them. You can see the following additional packages will be installed apart from these two, because it kind of understands that for vim you need web runtime, for git maybe you need lib error perl, for git you need gitman, right? And suggested packages is going to suggest that these should be installed, and the following, finally the following new packages will be installed, right? So it says need to get 11.3 MB, and you can see that 65.9 MB will be used. So I can just hit enter and buy, and you can see it's gonna quickly install it for me, and that is it. So it's that simple. Now let's say you're not really sure how to use vim, or maybe you're not really sure how to use git. So what do you do that? You can just type man and space git. It's going to show you the manual. Man is for manual. So all these commands have a manual kind of a documentation, and it tells you what it is. You can keep pressing enter and scroll through it. It only has line page 1, right? So you, oh sorry, yeah, you can keep pressing enter, and it will see, you will see that there's so many arguments that you can pass and go through it. So that is one thing. And if you want to quit, here it's clearly mentioned that you can press q to quit. So if I press q, it will be closed, right? So man git will show you the manual for man. Similarly for cp command, that is for copy. You can see that copy files and directories. If you're not really sure what to do, right, you can use these commands. That is it. Similarly for man sudo, right? I told you sudo is allowing you to access all the system profiles and edit them. It allows a permitted user to execute a command as a super user or another user, as specified by the security policy, right? Now if you can change the security policy, you can say that anyone who does sudo should not be allowed to do this. So those things can be changed, and those are not in the scope for this video. Now actually let's close terminal and let's get back to the graphical stuff now. So I don't really like the original look of it, although it's super cool. It looks like windows already. I can open file manager. Let me open it for you. You can see it's pretty nice, decent enough layout. I really like it overall. The the animations are cool, very simple, and nothing fancy. I can go here, I can preview what's happening, right? And that's it. But what about making it dark mode? Because that's something I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Windows, and here it will show you something like this. Now you can type and search for something which is already existing on the system. If I type appearance, you will see that Zorin appearance will come up, and you just have to click on that. So this is the Zorin Appearance app that allows you to play around. You can choose what kind of layout do you want. So if you want, I'm sorry, yeah. So if you want something like this, you can choose this thing. If you want maybe something more like a dock, and on the top bar you need something like that, so you can go for that. I pretty much prefer it to be very original. Like I like this way. So let's keep it for this only. And you can say that icons on desktop. What do you want? Trash if you want. You can have all these things here. You can say tile bar buttons on left or right. You can see these are moving left and right now, right? You can enable animations, you can disable animations, you can choose a theme that you want. I would prefer to have a dark theme, and see it's so beautiful now. Looks far better actually. So you can change the themes as well. I prefer just keep it dark and don't change any of these things here. You can change the accent color. You can see I'm changing it here. Let's keep it blue only. I like blue. Here you can see the fonts there are. I don't think that you should change it ideally. You can change the font size if you feel that it's too small for you. And you can see the panel. You can say if you want it on the top, this is how it will look like. You can change the height of it, dynamic background opacity. There's so many things, right? You can play around. You can say, okay, you want date, seconds, you want week number. Okay, all of these things will be visible on the top right. Right. So I think I'm cool with I'll prefer date. I'll not prefer seconds. That's okay. Taskbar position, you can change left or center. Like you can see on the top, it's changing. So let's keep it center for now, for example. And left super key, what should it do? If you click on Zorin menu, it will open this for you if you press Windows. And if you click Activities Overview, it will open this for you. I will prefer to it to be Zorin menu. It's nice because it's simple, right? So and I can still type and open things. So let's keep it that. I will prefer it to be on the bottom. It looks pretty decent already. And that is it. You can play around. Now that was about Zorin appearance. What about background? If you right click and click on change background, you can do it, and you can open something like click on backgrounds. It has really cool backgrounds. Like I would say it looks cooler than Mac. You can see this looks so beautiful, right? And there's so many backgrounds for you to experiment with. Oh wow, this is also beautiful, right? Wow, a beautiful combination of water and mountains, and also cloud, of course. Yeah, so you can click on lock screen and try to change for that as well. Whenever you lock, people will see this, right? So you can play around, do things with it, and that is it. Now how about going further and trying to search about which how to install some software for yourself, right? So you can choose a theme. Like on Firefox, it's pretty much really nice, and I think by default it opens start.zorin.com for you, and it's really beautiful, right? You can click on Google, Wikipedia, YouTube, and wherever you want to search. So let's say if I want to search for what I want to do, let's say I want to install Google Chrome. So all you need to do is install Ubuntu. So if you type Ubuntu, that is what's gonna work for Zorin as well. Okay, so don't worry about that. Whenever if you're on Zorin or any Linux distribution, you can type the different name here as well. So originally, what you can do is you can go to the website, right, and click on download Chrome. If it shows any option for Linux, then go for it. You can see it specifically mentions 64-bit.deb for Debian/Ubuntu. And since we're using Zorin, it's based on Ubuntu. You can actually go and download this only. You don't need to do anything else. So now, when you click on download, it tells you that we're going to download 79.7 MB, which is Debian package from dl.google.com, and you can say open with install Linux application. If you click on this, then whenever it's downloaded, it will automatically try to install that. I would prefer to go on a terminal way and try to save the file first, in case you want to come back later. So you can see it has been downloaded. My net is pretty fast, yay. And all you need to do is now open terminal, right, and go to downloads directory. So you can see what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to go to cd downloads. Cd means change directory, space, you can type downloads, because that is where things will be downloaded. If you hit enter, ls does list files in that current directory, right? And you can see that this has been downloaded, and it says stable current AMD 64, yes, 64-bit, right? And all you need to do to install this is sudo, because to install anything you of course need root permissions, slash admin permissions. And since we always use dpkg as a Debian package manager, D is for Debian and pkg is for package, and I want to install it, so I'm gonna say -i, and then I'm gonna give it the path. That is it. So it's very easy to install things. Sudo space dpkg space -i, and then you mention the path of the .deb file, and if you hit enter and type krs. Oh, that's my password. I relieved my password. So I revealed my password, and that's amazing. Stupid of me, but that's fine. Okay, and you can see that it already installed everything for you, right? It did a lot of things. I don't want to go into details. It's very simple, preparing to unpack and then trying to install things. So it just doesn't throw any errors. So I think we are all good. And if you press Windows and then type Chrome, you can see that Chrome is already installed now. You can click on Chrome and try to set it up, right? And that's it. If you want Chrome as the default browser, you can go and sign in and try to sync things up, right? And as a final thing, let me also show you my OBS setup. It's gonna be, infinite. Okay, just ignore this. Now this is my OBS setup. What you need to do is you can actually go to software here. So Zorin has this software uh, s- app where you can actually search for something that you want to install, right? For example, you can install GeForce now. This is cool. I'm seeing it for the first time. Just leave it for now. Don't try to install these things. Let's search for something like OBS Studio. So OBS Studio is a software that you can use for streaming and all, right? And recording, which I'm using now. So you can go to launch because I've already installed it, but you will see an install option here, and you can choose to install it and it will work for you pretty well. It has all these release notes if you face any problem. It does mention what kind of what version there is and when it was updated. So it was updated today, which is amazing. So that means it's all good. We can install it, and you see it says installed here. If you want to search for something like Visual Studio Code, I am not sure if it will be here, but let's just try to find. So you can see it is actually there, and you can try installing, just here. This application is unconfined. It can access all personal files and system resources because, of course, it's a code editor. That's okay, right? All I need to do is start installing it. You need to enter a password to give it the root privileges, and you can see that it is trying to install it automatically. So if you don't prefer to open terminal and trying to install it, you can opt for this way. The other way is to actually go on the website of Visual Studio Code and then trying to install it. So you can search for Visual Studio Code, then you can go to Visual Studio Code website, and it will show. Most of the times you will find all the apps now for Linux as well. You can go and click on .deb and download it from there, and then again do sudo dpkg-i and then try to download from there, right? So that is it, and you can see this has been installed, and I can go and start using it, right? You can choose which theme you want, and that's it. It's all ready. I can choose dark, right? You really want dark? I don't like too dark. Yeah, this is nice. You can try to install extensions and all. So this is all possible on Linux very easily. See, so one of the best things about this is you're mostly using commands to install something on Linux, and that will kind of make you more comfortable on how to use Linux and installing things. So that is the good way to start. So just go ahead and try to install things. I wish you all the best. I hope you enjoy your journey on Linux. I hope you guys enjoy using Zorin. I love Zorin. Absolutely, I adore it because it's something that I really appreciate about people developing things. And I'm a developer, and I can feel the pain and the entertainment, the excitement that one goes through. One small thing I wanted to mention, that you can actually type shortcuts, or not shortcuts, but you can type keyboard. Oh, it's not visible here. That's weird. Okay, let's go to settings. Oh, that was input method. You could have gone there. But let's go to settings and let's try to explore what is available here. You can go to Wi-Fi. I don't have a Bluetooth because I'm on a system. Appearance, you can go notifications for what apps you want notifications to be turned on. Right, this all is light. You can ignore that. You can explore all these things. Zoom is on or not. Magnifier if you want, you can do that. Okay, let's see if we can. Oh, nice. So you can see we have turned it on. Let's turn it off for now. Right? You can play around. What is it? Oh, so you can also have crosshair. Oh, this is cool. This all is cool. You can play around. You can do things. Right? What is it? Oh, this is not bad at all. You can actually go to crosshair. You can remove crosshair. Okay. Let's try to enable this now. Okay, this is something I really like. How about 1.75? No, I. Oh, this is far better, right? So, and you can say that, oh, yeah, this is also nice. So, so if I see that you cannot see something, oh, let's try to, oh, wow. Okay, let's try to do this then. Okay. How about, oh, I can't click. Why? I'm done, right? Um, right, yeah. So you can go to online accounts and try doing things which you can ignore for now. What about sharing? You don't really need to enter anything for now. You can go to sound and try to choose what kind of sound you want to use. output volume, over amplification if you want to enable. So if you feel that your laptop has less audio compared to what you felt that is required, you can over amplify things, which I will disable for now. And you can go to power, which is not a concern for me because I'm on desktop. And I can finally go back and press escape. And where was this? Where am I? Universal access. I need to, oh my god, how do I zoom? Yeah, I need to disable this as soon as possible. Yeah, cool. Welcome back everyone. That is it. So but let's try to change some shortcuts. I really want to do that. So can I go to input method? Okay. Oh, what? Cancel. Let's just not play around. Where is keyboard? If I hit keyboard, I can't see anything. So what I really want to do is I want to update shortcuts. So let's search here. Oh, here you go. If you search shortcut, you get keyboard. So you can go to keyboard and try to reset things. I mean, change the shortcuts. For example, home folder on Windows, it is usually Windows plus E. So I prefer to have it here as well because it's kind of handy. If you want to open terminal, you can see it is already mentioned that you need to press Control plus Alt plus T, right? And you can choose to have these things move, you know, how to move from one monitor to different monitor and all that you can play around. One thing I always like having is copy a screenshot of an area to clipboard. I will prefer typing Windows plus Shift plus S, and what it does is if you press Windows plus Shift plus S, it kind of allows you to take a screenshot, and this is immediately copied to your clipboard, so you can press Control V on any WhatsApp chat and you can paste it there right away. So you don't really need to use your mobile to take a photo and then send it there. That is one useful thing I really prefer having. And you can play around, see things what you really want, and that is it. Mouse and touchpad, you want to increase the acceleration and all, you can play around, that's it. So I would say that let's stop it here. It's been a long video. I hope you like it. I will share something out of OBS in another video because I think it's too much for this video. But let's see. I'm gonna add a filter now just to test things. I will prefer that everyone gives an opinion on this. I'm gonna add noise suppression. It's gonna cancel some noise, right? And I'm gonna wait for it. Nice. I hope it works. Anyways, let's bring it back to original. I don't want any filter to filter my voice right now. I hope you guys like the video. If you like the video, please subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more exciting content. All the best for the Linux journey, and God bless you, everyone. Take care. Thank you.